Hi, everyone. Continuing now in the Gospel according to Mark chapter 6, I would invite you to please read verses 30 to 44 below. Pause the video and consider the questions. And now I will move on to the questions. Actually, before I get into the questions, I want to point out how the Reverend Brooks Smith yesterday talked about this very passage in his sermon, and it happens to be the one that we cover today. And I tend to see these little things, these coincidences, quote unquote, as not coincidences, but rather as the providential hand of God. And I hope that you look for the providential hand of God in similar ways. Think of coincidences not as strange little occurrences. Well, strange little occurrences, that's fine. But look for God in those strange little occurrences. Question 1, how were the disciples feeling? They were exhausted because they had just gotten back from their first mission by themselves. Jesus had sent them out to heal people and to share the gospel, and they didn't have any bread, any food, otherwise any money, any extra clothes, and they were completely dependent upon the hospitality of those whom they were teaching and sharing the gospel with. And so when they get back from this mission, they're also exorcising demons. So it was a very challenging time for them. They were ready for a vacation, but the crowds kept chasing after them. Question 2a, what have you been doing in teaching to further the gospel in the world? Only you can answer that question. I hope that you're both excited to share this news and yet at the same time perhaps feeling a bit tired considering all that we're going through. But I do pray that you understand that you are called to be healers in this difficult time in which we're facing COVID-19, and that you are called to be peacemakers in this time in which we see the demonic powers of chaos and injustice seeking to wreak havoc on our nation. Peacemakers, but also justice makers. And so I applaud those protesters out there calling for our lawmakers to make sure that there is indeed justice for minorities in our nation. After another long day of work, what did the disciples ask Jesus to do? So the people were hungry, and the disciples asked Jesus to send them home. And Jesus instead said, why don't you feed them? And this, to me, getting to question 4, suggests that all this, we're tired. You know, we've just had so much calling us in our world today. So much to battle, so much to do to make sure that the hungry are fed, that the sick are healed, that those suffering from injustice in our legal system find justice. It's just one thing after another, and it's tiring. And we just want Jesus to sort of send those who are hurting and hungry home so that we can get some rest. And Jesus says, why don't you feed them? And I think this means that that God will give us the strength to carry on in the work that He is calling us to, and that we must carry on. People are hurting more than ever, and our food bank is busier than ever. And so please do what you can, day in and day out. Of course, love your children, love your family, make sure you reach out to them. And whatever else you can do beyond caring for your immediate neighbors and your immediate family and friends, please do so. And let's continue the works of justice and peace that God is calling us to. Blessings.